Today I will present about banker acceptance. So what is banker acceptance? Banker acceptance, also known as a BA, it is financial instrument issued by a bank that guarantees payment to a seller of goods or services. At the future, it is commonly used in international trade transaction to provide assurance to a seller that they will receive a payment for their goods or services. Banker acceptance also often by used in international trade because they provide level of security to both buyer and seller. The acceptance acts as a guarantee that the buyer will make payment while the seller can choose to sell the acceptance to access funds sooner. These instruments are generally considered low risk because they are backed by the issuing bank is creditworthiness.
Hello, I'm Sophia. I will be explaining about the market players for the instrument of Banker's acceptance. The first one is bank. Malaysian commercial banks play a significant role in Banker's acceptance market. They issue and accept Banker's acceptance as a means of financing trade transaction. Banks act as the primary market makers, facilitating the creation, acceptance, and trading of Banker's acceptance. They provide credit enhancement to ensure the acceptance is considered and reliable and credit worthy. The second one is corporation. Malaysian corporation, particularly those engaged in international trade, are another important group of market players in Banker's acceptance. These corporations utilize Banker's acceptance as a financing tool for their trade activities. They may issue Banker's acceptance to finance their purchase or accept Banker's acceptance as a form of payment from their trading partners. The third one is investor. Investors, including institutional investors and individuals, participate in the Banker's acceptance market to earn returns on their investment. They typically purchase Banker's acceptance from banks or other market participants. Banker's acceptance are attractive to investors because they offer a fixed income with relatively low risk, and they are often backed by the creditworthiness of the issuing banks. The fourth one is financial institution. Besides commercial banks, other financial institutions such as investment banks, merchant banks, and Islamic banks may also be involved in the Banker's acceptance market. These institutions may issue or accept Banker's acceptance based on their specific business activities and customers' needs. The fifth one is regulators. Regulatory bodies such as the Central Bank of Malaysia, Bank Negara Malaysia, play a vital role in overseeing and regulating the Banker's acceptance market. They establish guidelines, policies, and standards to ensure the stability and integrity of the market. These regulations helps maintain confidence among market participants and protect the interests of investors.
What are the reasons behind Banker's acceptance issuance? First, to raise short-term funding. Banks have the option to issue Banker's acceptance as a means of obtaining short-term funding to address their liquidity requirement or support their business operation. There are several reasons why business and companies make operation to raise short-term funds through Banker's acceptance is to fulfilling capital needs, financing trade transaction, managing cash flow, assessing cost-effective funding, gaining access to bank's network, and maintaining flexibility. Second, to provide financing to customer. Banker's acceptance are frequently utilized in international trade as a means of financing the import and export of goods. This financing method allows business to secure fundings within their own country, which proves beneficial when exporting to countries where obtaining credit is challenging. Banker's acceptance offer cost effectiveness as they generally incur lower fees and interest rate compared to traditional bank loans. The reduced risk assumed by the banks contribute to this cost advantage. By providing financing through Banker's acceptance, banks assist business in meeting their short-term funding requirements, exchanging cash flow, mitigating risk, and facilitating international trade. Third, to manage liquidity. Banks may choose to issue Banker's acceptance as a strategy to effectively manage their liquidity and increase the amount of excess funds they hold. By issuing Banker's acceptance, banks can generate return on their surplus funds and reduce the needs for maintaining large balance at the central bank. There are several ways in which Banker's acceptance can be employed as a tools for liquidity management, such as short-term funding, cash flow management, managing trade risk, financing, debt management, interest rate risk management, and credit risk management. Lastly, to manage risk. Banks also utilize Banker's acceptance as a risk management strategies. For instance, they may issue Banker's acceptance to finance long-term assets, such as loan, in a manner that aligns the maturity of asset with the funding. This approach helps mitigate the risk of funding imbalance and enhance the overall risk profile of the bank. Effective risk management is a crucial aspect of utilizing Banker's acceptance as a financial instrument. There are several risks associated with Banker's acceptance that necessitate carefully management, such as credit risk, interest rate risk, market risk, liquidity risk, foreign exchange risk, and operational risk.
Banker acceptances are financial instruments that offer several benefits to investors. Here are some of the key benefits of investing in Banker acceptances. The first benefit is high liquidity. Banker acceptances are known for their high liquidity. High liquidity means that an asset can be easily and quickly converted into cash without significantly impacting its market price. In the context of Banker acceptance, the high liquidity implies that investors can readily buy or sell them in the market, usually at a price close to the prevailing market value. The liquidity of Banker acceptances is primarily attributed to their active trading in the money market, which is a segment of financial market dedicated to short-term borrowing and lending. The money market provides a platform for investors to participate in the buying and selling of banker acceptances, facilitating their liquidity. Investors benefit from the liquidity of banker acceptances as it allows them to enter or exit position in this instrument promptly. This flexibility is especially valuable in situations where market conditions are rapidly changing or when investors require access to their funds quickly. Second benefit is have short-term maturity. Short-term maturity is a defining characteristic of banker acceptances. These instruments typically have maturity of less than 1 year, often ranging from a few weeks to several months. The specific maturity period is agreed upon at the time of issuance. The short-term maturity period reduces the exposure to potential risks and uncertainties associated with long-term investment. The short-term maturity of banker acceptances make them an attractive choice for corporations and financial institutions seeking short-term funding. They can issue banker acceptances to raise short-term funds for various purposes such as managing cash flow, meeting working capital needs, or financing specific projects. Compared to long-term debt instruments, banker acceptances with short-term maturity are generally less sensitive to interest rate fluctuations. Their short-term horizon means there is a lower risk of interest rate change, significantly impacting the investment returns. This makes them relatively more stable and reduce the risk of investment becoming underwater. The third benefit is banker acceptances have a low risk investment. Banker acceptances are typically issued by reputable banks with strong financial positions and a history of sound management. Investing in banker acceptances issued by these banks reduce the risk for investors, as these institutions are considered to have a lower probability of defaulting on their payment obligation. Evaluating the creditworthiness and reputation of the issuing bank is an important aspect of assessing the risk associated with a banker acceptance. The regulatory oversight provided by central banks adds an additional layer of security to banker acceptances. Central banks monitor and regulate banks to ensure compliance with regulations, maintain adequate capital levels, and promote stability in the financial system. This regulatory oversight helps reduce the risk of default and strengthens the overall creditworthiness of banker acceptances.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I am Imanina Dahlia. So today I would like to present about the characteristics does the banker's acceptance have. So they have 10 characteristics actually. So the first one is characteristic of a banker's acceptance is included with short-term instrument. The short-term instrument is about bankers' acceptance are typically short-term financial instrument with maturities ranging from a few days to several months. They are used to facilitate commercial transaction and provide a form of payment assurance to the seller. The second one is about issued by banks. Issued by bank is bankers' acceptance are issued by banks on behalf of their customers. The bank guarantees the payment to the holder of the acceptance upon maturity, making it a secure instrument. The third one is widely accepted. Bankers' acceptance are widely accepted in domestic and international trade as a reliable form of payment. They are frequently used in import or export transactions, providing reassurance to the seller and often used as collateral for loans. The fourth one is negotiable instruments. Bankers' acceptance are negotiable, meaning that they can be bought, sold, or discounted in secondary markets. This feature enhances liquidity and allows businesses to convert the acceptance into cash before its maturity date. The next one is low-risk investment. Bankers' acceptance are considered low-risk investment due to the involvement of a bank and their widespread acceptance. This makes them attractive to investors seeking secure short-term instruments. The next one is competitive interest rates. Bankers' acceptance often offer competitive interest rates compared to other short-term investment. The interest rate is determined based on prevailing market rates and the creditworthiness of the accepting bank. Regulation and oversight. Bankers' acceptance are subject to regulatory frameworks and oversight by central banks and financial authorities. This ensures their integrity and reliability as financial instruments. Next one is international acceptance. Bankers' acceptance are frequently used in international trade transactions, facilitating cross-border commerce, and they are recognized and accepted by banks or businesses worldwide. The next one is lower credit risk. Since bankers' acceptance are backed by banks, they carry low credit risk compared to other payment methods. The bank's guarantee provides assurance of payment to the holder of the acceptance. Last one is promotes trade and liquidity. Bankers' acceptance play a crucial role in promoting trade and liquidity by facilitating the flow of goods and services between businesses. They provide a trusted mechanism for payment, reducing uncertainties in commercial transactions.
The maturity period of banker acceptance typically range from 30 days to 180 days, although it can vary depending on the agreement between the party involved. The maturity date is specified on the banker acceptance documents and represent the date on which the bank is obligated to make payment to the seller or the holder of the acceptance. The length of the maturity period is typically determined by various factors, including the nature of transaction, the terms negotiated between the buyer and seller, and also the credit worthiness. Shorter maturity periods such as 30 days to 60 days are more common for domestic transactions, while longer periods such as 90 days to 180 days are often seen in international trade. It's worth noting that the maturity period of a banker acceptance can be negotiable between the buyer and seller to accommodate their specific needs and circumstances. However, it's important to consider that longer maturity periods may increase the risk associated with the acceptance and could affect its marketability if the seller intends to sell it before maturity.
So in conclusion, Banker's acceptance are short-term financial instruments issued by banks on behalf of their customers, and they are widely accepted, negotiable, and considered low-risk investments. Banker's acceptance also promote trade, provide payment assurance, and offer competitive interest rates. They are recognized internationally, regulated by authorities, and help facilitate liquidity in commercial transactions. So that's all from us. Thank you for watching.